Right now, in parts of the world that you might never expect, a sinister underworld exists, an underworld where the most innocent are preyed upon. These places don't just attract tourists for their beauty or culture. No, there's a darker, more twisted appeal that draws in a different kind of traveler, and it's more horrifying than you might think. In this video, we're diving deep into the shocking reality of the top 10 countries where child predators go to get their fill. From Southeast Asia to the Caribbean, this is a journey you won't forget. Stick around, because at the end, we're going to reveal something that will make you question everything you thought you knew about these destinations. Here's a hint. It's closer to home than you think. Stay with me. You probably know Cambodia for its rich history, stunning temples, and the famous Angkor Wat. But beneath the surface, there's a much darker tourism industry. Phnom Penh, Siem Reap. These cities are not just hotspots for backpackers. They're also on the radar for predators seeking to exploit the country's vulnerable youth. You might wonder, how does this happen in such a beautiful place? The truth is, poverty is rampant, and traffickers take advantage of desperate families. With law enforcement often underfunded and corruption widespread, it's easy for these predators to blend in with regular tourists, their true motives going unnoticed. But Cambodia is not where this dark journey ends. In fact, we're only just getting started. The Philippines, home to stunning beaches, friendly locals, and a vibrant culture. But it's also infamous for being a hub of online sexual exploitation of children. Child predators from all over the world flock here, not just for physical encounters, but for something even more terrifying. Live-streamed abuse. The pandemic saw a huge spike in this activity as families struggling with poverty were coerced into exploiting their own children for cash. What makes it worse? The crime often takes place behind closed doors, hidden in plain sight, with global demand feeding this industry. It's hard to believe, isn't it? But that's the reality. And trust me, the next country on the list might surprise you even more. Thailand, a tourist paradise. From the bustling streets of Bangkok to the serene beaches of Phuket, millions of tourists visit for its beauty. But child predators also come here, lurking among the crowds. Thailand has long struggled with sex tourism, and while laws have been tightened, child exploitation remains a serious issue. Pattaya, in particular, has earned a reputation for being a haven for illegal activities involving minors. What's frightening? The predators here have become experts at avoiding detection, blending into the tourist masses. Now, if you thought Thailand was bad, wait until you hear about what's happening in the next country. Dominican Republic. It's a popular Caribbean escape for vacationers, but for some, it's an opportunity to exploit children. In recent years, there have been disturbing reports of predators flocking to areas like Boca Chica, where the poverty-stricken population makes children more vulnerable to exploitation. The tourism industry here often turns a blind eye, and laws can be inconsistently enforced. The locals are often unaware that some of the smiling foreigners have sinister intentions, and the worst part? For many of these children, there's no way out. Colombia, a country known for its music, culture, and beauty, has also been targeted by child predators. Especially in cities like Cartagena, predators blend in with the flood of tourists, exploiting children in the shadows. Although the government has taken steps to combat child sex tourism, the issue persists in poorer areas where traffickers and abusers operate freely. The government is trying to fight back, but the predators are always one step ahead. And speaking of places where law enforcement struggles, let's move on to number 5. Brazil, the land of Samba, Carnival, and sprawling beaches. But Brazil is also one of the most dangerous countries in the world for children. In favelas and poorer areas, traffickers lure children into prostitution. It's heartbreaking, but predators specifically target these areas, knowing that they can exploit a population already ravaged by poverty and violence. It's a disturbing contrast, the glitz of Carnival and the shadows that predators hide in. Mexico, a country that millions of tourists visit every year for its culture and beaches. But it's also a known hotspot for child exploitation, especially in border towns like Tijuana. where traffickers exploit the proximity to the United States. Child sex tourism is rampant, fueled by both international predators and locals involved in the trafficking rings. With corruption in law enforcement, it's an ongoing battle that authorities are struggling to win. Kenya. You wouldn't expect it, right? Known for its safaris and stunning landscapes, it's also become a hub for child sex tourism. Predators from Europe and other parts of the world come here, lured by the vulnerable situation of many children in poverty-stricken areas. In Ukraine, the war and political instability have left countless children vulnerable. Traffickers prey on displaced families, and the exploitation of children has reached alarming levels. International predators come here, exploiting the chaos. And now, the moment of truth. The country you might never expect, the United States. Despite being one of the most developed nations, the US has a huge child exploitation problem, often fueled by the internet and hidden networks that operate across the country. Child predators don't need to travel to far-off lands. They're right here. According to data from the US Department of Health and Human Services, nearly 60 million individuals in the United States have survived childhood sexual abuse. That's roughly 1/5 of the entire population. And disturbingly, this number doesn't even account for the estimated 2/3 of victims who never come forward or disclose their experiences. Some experts argue the real number could be as high as 180 million survivors. To put that into perspective, that's more than the total number of people who voted in the 2020 US presidential election. The truth is, no country is immune. What can be done? Raising awareness is a start. Stay vigilant, stay informed.